Hi, my name's Jackie, and today I'm going to talk about BBC Sherlock and TJLC. Now, for those of you that don't know, TJLC stands for the John Locke Conspiracy. No, not that John Locke. Or that John Locke. Basically, TJLC is the theory that BBC Sherlock has the intention of having John Watson and Sherlock Holmes in a romantic relationship by the end of the show, and that this has always been the plan from the beginning, and that they've been lying to us about it for this entire time. Now, the word conspiracy gets people, like, all riled up about it sometimes, but the acronyms, like, started as a joke. It was a joke. It just, like, took off, and it wasn't meant to be, like, oh, this is like our official name for the theory because we're like serious academics and we talk about serious things all the time and we never joke because this is the internet and you don't ever joke on the internet, you guys. You just don't do it, okay? Now, for a number of reasons, there are many people out there who either don't believe that this is true or they are actively against it being true. Really, all TJLC is people analyzing the show, analyzing the subtext, the visuals, the acting, the writing, the directing, the cinematography, and extrapolating from all that data that this is the creator's intention, has been the intention the entire time. That's literally all it is. It's a theory, that's it. But there are some people out there who get very, riled up about the fact that people believe this. And they have some interesting arguments about it. Probably the argument that I hate the most is, well, it didn't happen in the books, okay? Arthur Conan Doyle never wrote Sherlock Holmes and John Watson as being in a relationship, so obviously they're not gonna do it here because it would be, like, disrespectful. Okay, leaving aside the disrespectful part for a moment, which is homophobic as shit, by the way. You know what else didn't happen in the original Sherlock Holmes canon? Mary Morstan being an assassin, Irene Adler being a queer dominatrix who is in love with Sherlock. I could go on, but really, BBC Sherlock, in addition to updating Sherlock Holmes to modern day, takes many liberties with the canon. Like, at this, it's really, honestly, like, even leaving beside the, shippy aspect of it, the thing is really just, like, a really big budget alternate universe fanfic. Like, it is. Like, I don't understand the argument that, like, they couldn't do it because they wouldn't do it in the books. And also, for another thing, there's plenty of queer subtext in the original canons for Holmes and Watson. There's much more support for that in the original books than there is for, like, again, Irene Adler being a lesbian dominatrix in love with Sherlock. Three things which in the original story did not happen. And even if Arthur Conan Doyle had wanted to make his subtext explicit, if he had wanted to unequivocally put Holmes and Watson in a homosexual relationship with each other, he would not have been able to. Like, this was Victorian times, you guys. Homosexuality was illegal. Oscar Wilde got sent to a fucking labor camp because there was homosexual subtext in the picture of Dorian Gray. Like, there's just no way he would have been able to do it. So, the argument is completely moot. Like, queer theorists, like, study Sherlock Holmes for the queer subtext. Like, it's in there. It is. And regardless of whether you believe it or not, it's, like, it has way more support than a lot of the things that have actually occurred in the show. Now, another argument I want to talk about is TJLC is queerbaiting. TJLC is the opposite of queerbaiting? Like, I don't even understand it when people say this. Like, I feel like people say it don't even know what the hell TJLC is. TJLC is explicitly saying this has to happen in the show, otherwise all of this stuff that we're talking about would make the show incredibly gross queerbaiting of the most disgusting caliber ever seen on television ever. Like, the motto is gay or trash. I mean, like, how can it be queerbaiting when we're arguing that it's not queerbaiting? That doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't understand, like, many times we can explain this and people just continue to just ignore us because, like, we're literally saying the show is queer baiting unless it actually happens. And we want it to happen, and we think it's gonna happen, so it's not queer baiting. Like, I don't know how else I can, like, make this easier for people to understand. Like, there's also the notion that if John and Sherlock were to get together in the show, that it would be harmful to the queer community somehow. Like, I understand that's like, oh great, 2 white guys, what the fuck else is new? But the thing is, it's not the fact that they're 2 white guys that would be revolutionary, it's the fact that it's Holmes and Watson. Like, this would be the first mainstream adaptation to have Holmes and Watson in an unmistakably romantic and sexual relationship with each other. And it is revolutionary, even if it is 2 white guys. And the thing is, like, it sucks that, like, for everybody, white and male is, like, the default state of human being. Like, obviously that's not true and it's fucked up, but we can pave the way to adaptations with more people of color, more women, more non-binary people, more varied people if we start with something like this. Like, this is gonna pave the way to more popular mainstream shows where we can do stuff like that. And with shows like Orange is the New Black, you know, stuff like that, it's really, like, we're heading in a direction where we'll hopefully see more people represented besides, oh great, 2 more white dudes, awesome. And honestly, for me, it'd be really refreshing because, like, you see so many shows and movies about, oh, these 2 white dudes, they're best friends, there's a little sexual tension, and we're gonna make some jokes about it, but we're never gonna actually do it. And this show will do it. It'll just blow those ones out of the water, and it's gonna shake things up, and I'm very excited for it. Another, great one is, why can't 2 guys just be friends? Why you gotta make everything gay? Why do you have to make everything straight? If you want to watch a show or a movie about 2 platonic bros hanging out, you can watch literally anything else in the world. Anything. Anything. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with wanting to actually get some queer representation on television, especially a bisexual character? Like, I'm bisexual, and the fact that there might be, like, a really complex, really layered, really complicated character like John Watson being bisexual, like, the fact that that could actually happen, like, makes me over the moon. And there's also this idea that, like the show be encouraging people to stay closeted. It's like, no, they're portraying a closeted character, but the whole point of his story isn't, like, oh, he has to come out right now. It's portraying something that happens all the time, which is, like, older, middle-aged people, like, especially bisexual people, having trouble coming out so late in life, and, like, it's not shown enough. Like, we almost never see stories like that ever, especially not in, like, big mainstream shows like this. And the fact that, like, people wouldn't want that to happen, like, I don't understand it. Like, there's these people who are queer themselves, and they're saying it would be bad for this to happen. It's like, not everyone is gonna be queer the same way you are. That's my phone, goddammit. Anyway, it's like, not everyone is queer in exactly the same ways. Like, the fact that, oh, this is the only correct way to be queer or to portray queer people, and if you deviate from this in any sort of way, you're being harmful to the community. It's like, fuck you, okay? I don't have to subscribe to, like, a specific criteria list in order to be a good queer person, neither do these fictional characters. I'm so sick of seeing this. I'm tired of it. It's like treating us like we're delusional. We're not being delusional. We're literally just looking at the show. We're just looking at the show. Like, we're just literally just analyzing the show, and that's it. If you don't agree with us, that's fine, but you don't have to call us delusional. You don't have to call us crazy teenage fangirls. That's another thing. Saying, oh, you're just a bunch of teenage girls who want to see 2 guys fuck. It's like, fuck you. No, it's not true. I'm not saying queer fetishization never happens in the Sherlock fandom. I'm sure it does. I'm sure there are people who just want to see Sherlock and John make out because they like seeing 2 guys together and that's it. But that is definitely not most of us, and I have never seen, like, I mean, I could be wrong about this, but I've never seen any TJLCers say stuff like that. like, the fact that we ship two guys doesn't make us, like, horny teenage girls. And the fact that you're hating on teenage girls when you say stuff like that really pisses me off, because it's always teenage girls who get the brunt of the stick with this kind of shit. You never say, oh, you're just a stupid teenage boy who wants to see two guys make out. You never see anyone saying that shit. And the fact that girls get shit on for this constantly, for exploring, like, queer relationships, who are probably queer themselves, to be honest. There are a lot of queer people in the Sherlock fandom who ship these two. It's just so fucking insulting, and it's just, like, really fucking sexist, too, to be honest. And then I'm gonna end it on this one because this is getting a little long, but another argument is that the creators would never do it, and the BBC would never do it. The writers and actors lie about the show all the time. Like, just because they said, oh, we're never gonna do it, blah, 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 blah. They said they were never gonna do a lot of things, and then they fucking went ahead and did them, so you can take everything they say with a grain of salt, because there's no way, if Sherlock and John are actually to get together, that they would just, like, say so. They wouldn't just say it. That'd be just ruining the entire show. Like, I can tell you as a writer, if I was doing something like that, then I would absolutely deny it also, because it just ruins it. It ruins the fun. And part of the fun of TJLC is, like, deciphering all this stuff that's going on. It's a puzzle. It's a puzzle story. And it's interesting, and it's fun, and it's creative, it's intellectual. And, like, the fact you're gonna go around shitting on people who are just, honestly, just having a good time. Like, we're not going into your inboxes and calling you stupid for not shipping it. And if there are people who are doing that, they're certainly not representing the rest of us. I don't know why people linger on hating stuff. It just seems like such a waste of time to me. If you don't like something, just fucking ignore it. Like, just have fun doing stuff you like doing. Just have a good time. That's what fandom's for, man. It's for, you know, laughing with your friends and talking about shows and writing fanfics and just feeling good. And I don't understand why you would want to be a part of fandom if you're just gonna, like, go stir shit with people for literally no reason other than because I guess you're bored. I don't know. And also the BBC would do it. I'll put a link in the description to the report that they conveniently did around the time of commissioning the pilot. The timing is very suspect there, but I highly suggest reading it. It's by Loudest Subtext in Television. She provides a summary of it and provides a link to the actual report if you want to read the whole thing. Alright, well, I've said my piece. Again, a disclaimer, if you don't ship it, that's cool. If you don't believe it's going to happen in the show, that's cool. It's totally fine. Everyone interprets things differently, but don't go around shitting on people and being an asshole. Like, that's literally all I ask. This is the I can't talk. I can't talk. I got an A+ in public speaking in high school, I swear.